Today on Ballistic BBQ, I'm going to be cooking up 3 amazing racks of beef back ribs on Lone Star Grillz El Patron. Let's get going. My wife and I went to Costco yesterday and I was checking out the meats in the meat area, trying to get some inspiration for a video. And I know I wanted to use El Patron. And then I saw their beef ribs. My Costco has the best beef rack ribs. I mean, even better than like the butcher shops I go to. You go to the butcher shops and they're spending a little bit more time cutting those racks off of the prime rib roast. And they're obviously trying to keep more meat on the prime rib roast. For me, beef back ribs, they're my #1 meat when it comes to barbecue. If I see a nice meaty back rib, I'll take that over brisket. I'll take it over beef short rib. I just like the whole experience. I like the way the meat tastes, and I like, just tearing it off the bone is just kind of primal, and I dig on that. So anyway, here are those racks. And like I said, these are beautiful. A lot of meat on them. Some of the bones are like 10 inches long. And I got some plans for it. Like I said, we're cooking it on El Patron. Just before they're finished, I'm going to hit them with a glaze we're going to make in a second. It's going to be a honey-based glaze, but it's not going to be like a crazy sweet glaze. There obviously will be that sweetness from the honey. But I'm putting a lot of savory in here, a lot of other spices, and even some Wagyu beef tallow into the glaze just to kind of bring in a little bit more savory, I guess. And I'm in the camp where I know there's a lot of people who are opposed to using any sweetness at all on beef. I like it. So I'm cooking these ribs for me and my family to eat. And yeah, looking forward to it. So I'm going to go ahead and season them. So first things first, on beef back ribs, I always remove the membrane. I don't remove the membrane on short ribs, but I do on the back ribs. This one here has a super thin membrane, so I just left that on. That's the exception out of all these. But these other two, they had some pretty thick membranes, and it's not a pleasurable experience, tearing through that leathery stuff once it's cooked. Just seasoning it with some salt, pepper, and garlic. And I'm not using a binder on this. I'm not worrying too much about seasoning the back, but I'll go fairly heavy on the front of these ribs, or the top. All right, there we are. Okay, El Patron is all preheated. Let's get these bones on the pit. I'll show you how I have everything set up. I'm running the pit at 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Lower grates are fully closed. The door on the second notch here. Both of the upper exhausts are fully open. And I'm burning lump with a small split on top. And from here on out, I'll be adding splits as needed. They're not real big splits. They're perfect for this cooker. And those splits are hickory. The baby back of beef. I love these ribs. I love these ribs. So, usually for me, we're looking at like a 4-hour cook. Very rarely will it exceed 4. It'll be between 4 and 5. So here's what we're looking at as far as the cook. I'll take a peek at these after the first hour, and they'll probably need to be spritzed at that point. And that's when I'll start my spritzing routine. I'm just using water, and probably every 20 minutes I'll take a look at them and spritz them if needed. Just before they're ready to pull, I'm going to hit them with a really nice glaze that I'm going to make right now. I have here 2 cups raw honey. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon grated ginger, fresh ginger, 4 cloves of finely minced garlic. I have here 1 teaspoon pickling spice, 1/2 teaspoon celery seed, and 1/2 teaspoon Chinese 5-spice. 1 teaspoon salt. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons beef tallow. This is Wagyu tallow. You don't have to add that, but I think it's going to add some extra savoriness, extra richness. Get that into the mix. 1/4 cup apple cider vinegar. Okay, I love heat. I want to bring on a little heat. My wife, who absolutely loves beef ribs, doesn't really like that much heat. So we're going to compromise. I'm adding 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper, dried red pepper. Okay, I'm going to take this into the house, get it all mixed up on the stove top, and I'm going to simmer this for about 40-45 minutes or so. All right, hour 1 is passed. Let's take a peek at these ribs. Nice color. Definitely needs a little spritzing. Again, I'm just spritzing with water. So now the cook's just about maintaining the temperatures of the pit and making sure that I do, check on the ribs, like I said, once every 30 minutes or so to spritz them. And here's the size of the splits I'm using in this cook. It's been running really stable. Haven't needed to adjust the dampers or anything, so happy about that. And yeah, so in another 30 minutes I'll be spritzing those ribs. All right, we are at 3 hours 45 minutes. And these ribs are looking good. The color, and look at the tender is all get out. Oh wow. I'm gonna go ahead and glaze these things now, and then I'll get them back on the pit for about probably 20 minutes or so, 15-20 minutes. So this glaze turned out really good. Very happy with how it tastes. It has a really nice kind of a garlicky ginger flavor. It's got some sweetness, a nice honey flavor, but it's not crazy sweet. And there is just a little bit of warmth, a hint of warmth there. All right, like I said, I'm gonna give it another 15 or 20 minutes before I pull them off. Just want that glaze to kind of sit on there a bit. All right, 20 minutes have passed. I gotta tell you, you have no idea how good this smells right now. So I'm gonna pull these off the pit. I'm gonna take these in the house and let them just kind of rest a bit, and then I'll bring them back out, meet you here at the cutting board. Okay, that rest period has ended. And look at that. This is obviously, I just took one of the racks out. They all turned out just like this, perfect, including the one that was on that upper shelf. I haven't done a lot of cooking on that upper shelf, to be honest with you, so I'm glad I did that. These things are tender, so tender. Let's give this a try. Got a beautiful, beautiful smoke ring there. This is where the rubber meets the road. And this is actually the one rack that had the thinner membrane on, and I left the membrane on. So I didn't really notice that when I was pulling it out of the taste test stack here. But get that membrane off. This is ridiculously tender. I'm in my happy place right now, and this is my lunch. Life is good. Nice smokiness to it. The ribs, or the meat in itself, is just amazing. I mean, one of the reasons why this is my favorite meat to barbecue is I love prime rib, I love ribeye steaks, and this is the meat, the same meat that goes into a ribeye steak. So counting the setting of the sauce, the glaze on there, it went 4 hours, and that's usually my norm for back ribs when I cook these. The pit ran very stable. I don't think I explained this earlier, but You know, I started the fire with lump charcoal just to start bringing the heat up. Then I was just feeding it those smaller splits, just one at a time. It was eating up, well, I went through a total of like let me look, hold on. Yeah, I'm going to say 2 3/4 splits. The third one I put on there is still looks like a log. You know, it's not all broken up, but it's pretty burned up. Temperatures ran very, very stable. Again, the fire was down below on the fire bricks. I had the plates, the grate plates, in place on the adjustable charcoal rack, so I was using that as a diffuser. And you know, that grate, it has laser cuts in it, so there is heat coming up straight through it as well, smoke and heat coming straight up, but it's more diffused. That's the way I really love to cook on this. That's my favorite way. But doing direct heat barbecue with those grates completely removed and the fire down below, that's also fun. You know, it gives you a great cook and a little bit of a different quality of smoke, but it's really, really good. Trying to think. Oh, the glaze. So I literally made that glaze up this morning, and it turned out exactly how I wanted it to be. I didn't want it to be a crazy sweet glaze. It's got a lot of ginger and garlic flavor to it, a teeny amount of heat that my wife will be happy with, and a savoriness. You know, that pork tallow and the salt, you know, actually helps kind of just tone down the sweetness. And then, you know, the vinegar toned it down even more. It just, you know, that acidity helped balance it all out. So that was definitely a keeper glaze, and it was super, super easy to make, as you saw. Other than that, yeah, I don't think I have anything to say. It's just a great, great cook, and I want to get these ribs into the house and start eating them. We got a little pesky flies are starting to show up. We don't have a whole lot of flies around here, but there's a little bit of humidity in the air, and they're kind of gravitating towards me and this awesome rack of ribs here. But anyway, thank you guys for stopping by. I'll have a link down below. Check out LSG if you haven't seen them. I'm telling you, it's just an awesome company, and everything they make just has a personal touch to it, and I love cooking on this Patron. So if you're new to the channel or you haven't hit the subscription button yet, please consider hitting that sub button, ringing the notification bell, thumb it up if you like it. I hope you did, and I will see you on the next video. There's hardly any meat left on this bone. I'm going to devour the rest of this when I get into the house. Cheers.